Hello, educators and parents. I just wanted to share this quick cell phone challenge that I did a number of years ago with my university student. Um, so this picture is circulating and it's by Mary Garza, an educator who decided to take a look at the number of notifications that were going off during class if you put the volume on high and what kind of notifications there were. And I guess the class did a tally. And this generated a lot of conversation between educators, parents, grandparents, and some things came up, obviously, like parents saying, well, hey, I want access to my kids. What if something's gone wrong? If there's an emergency, especially one thing unfortunately, that's on our minds is what if there's a shooting? Totally get that, but it is interesting. And so my classes, we used to talk about technology. How is it useful? How is it harmful? And so I did this little experiment. So here's what I did. Basically, I had my class think of a meaningful story for themselves, like what was their best day ever, or a decision that changed their life, a day they felt really accomplished, a special secret hideout place that they had as a kid, or a favorite vacation, or some place they discovered that was really cool and really meaningful, and how they came about that. And then I had them partner up. My class typically just talked with the person next to them. So I should mention that we had developed a really good classroom rapport, and the kids were all comfortable with each other, and we told kind of stories often. We'd reflect often. We'd do both small groups, partner work, and whole class discussions. So you might want to do this differently depending on like what grade level you teach or what kids you have. But anyway, feel free to alter if you want to do this. What we did is we turned the cell phone volume on high. And then I told them to each tell their story and give meaningful feedback. So we talked about like listening to respond versus listening to understand, and kind of what meaningful feedback would be. So it could be retelling why they're understanding why it's so important for that person, or giving something, why they think that sounds really interesting, something like this. And then at the end of the session, we would debrief. And it was really interesting. The kids would say that they had no idea that they were getting so many notifications in such a short period of time, and so many different kinds of notifications, because they never had their phone volume up all the way. They said maximum they would maybe have it on vibrate, but that's it. A lot of them also, the idea, so we were in tables, and we had them place their cell phone far away from them on the table. But during the course of the stories, and they were engaged in each other's stories, but during the course of the stories, they would take their phones and they would start playing with them, folding the phone over in their hands. If they had a case, playing with the case. And sometimes they'd realize halfway through that they were doing this and kind of go, and drop the phone and put it back. So the debrief afterwards told us a lot about what they were feeling. They noticing they were doing that and feeling like, why am I doing that? Some of them had this insight like, oh, there's something about it that made me feel comfortable. Some of them said I was like anticipating a notification, or kind of I couldn't stop wondering about if a certain friend was going to message, or they would kind of tell me what they might have been distracted by, if there's like one particular message, but then they'd say, but I didn't realize, X amount more messages would come in, and it wouldn't even be the one I was waiting for, and it kept ding, 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 and so it was going off all over the classroom, and it was a really interesting exercise for us to do. So if you try this, I hope you get interesting feedback. Yeah, let me know if you try.